بيكم to copy the example that I have exactly. So it has to be different and ما بيكون كلكم عندكم نفس يعني don't copy each other or copy the example on the screen, the one I'll post on Teams. I put material catalogs on Teams that you can choose different options from them. You can also find additional catalogs online, or if you have suppliers that you know of the Kuwait, that's also fine. You can go and get those. Otherwise, everything you need is already on Teams. Okay? So let's start one by one. The first one, I want you to open the material catalogs under marble, stone, granite. And download from Teams the KCPC marble profile. شوفون this catalog on Teams, KCPC marble. Class materials on Teams, material catalogs, marble, granite, marble, stone. Sorry, marble, stone, granite folder. راح تلاقون فيه KCPC marble profile. كلكم لقيتوا؟ KCPC is a big contracting company. They have a finishing branch that not just does, we're going to look at natural stone. So that's only one of multiple products. You're also welcome to use the other products. I'm going to walk you through how to do a natural stone specification. So that would be the natural stone collection. They have something called Neolith, Silestone or Salstone, Sha'baniya Terrazzo. If you're doing Terrazzo, you could also use that. I have other catalogs for Terrazzo. بس قاعد أقول لكم إن هذا في multiple products, not just marble. إحنا we will go to the natural stone collection. So that starts on page 7 of the PDF. It's divided by countries. عندنا هنا مثلا Italian marble. These are the marbles available from Italy. Greek marble. Other. هنا عندنا granite. نتكلم شوية عن granite. Do you normally see granite in residential projects? ممكن بالمطابخ, especially if it's a service one. بس هذا مبطل على الصالة, and maybe you don't really want to use it بالمطبخ either. Or it's usually used in offices and commercial places. Maybe بالدلي مع offices والأشياء هذه. So we want to generally avoid granite. Although, by the way, these granites don't look that bad. Some granites are not bad, but generally it's more commercial, office, institutional. The limestone. Armani is a very nice stone. But if you different types of travertine, I'm going to use the classic one, so you do not use the classic one. You can use any other travertine or other types. Have you heard of onyx, Miguel? How is it used? These are different types of onyx. في white, multicolor, green, orange, red. عادة شلون يستخدم شفتوا؟ أول شيء رخيص ولا غالي؟ وايد غالي. المتر يمكن فوق 50 مرات 100 دينار المتر الواحد. So it's very expensive. شنو characteristic do you know that you've seen it being used for? Exactly. Parts of the marble, بعض العروق, are translucent. You can see through, but not. Light can pass through, but you can't really see like a window through. فتشوفونه ممكن in counters, in commercial installations, يحطون إضاءة ورا الستone, and you see العروق الأخف starts shining through. But generally, we're not using it for flooring, so I'm just telling you what's there. And these are Spanish marbles. You can use one of these as well. There is also another catalog, Flooring Marble Boutique. This one, that's another one you could be using. So you don't have to use the one I just mentioned. But be careful in the أول, some stuff, it's called Techno Slab, which is a synthetic porcelain slab. that looks like marble, so I'm not talking about that. بعدين عندهم stuff that looks like wood. هني they have quartz, is a type of material, usually for counters it's used, but then في granite, so these are the more commercial granites اللي قاعد لكم عنهم بالسوق. وهني عندنا more granite, وبعدين marble. Some names you'll see them متكررين or a minor difference between them. So you could use one of these marbles as well, or stone. So back to KCPC. We want to follow. Okay, let's do the item code. احنا قلنا إذا بنحط أرضية marble or stone, we will be using ST, صح? So I'm gonna write, and this is again all in capitals. So ST01. Okay, so that's our first code, حق الأرضية. Then we want to follow this listing. We start with the dimensions, بعدين we mention the color, بعدين the name and type, then the manufacturer code if it's applicable. So for marble, generally you can find مثلا beige travertine or classic travertine from many suppliers. يعني you don't have to specify unless it's that specific supplier اللي انتوا تبونه منه, you know who's getting what and they have a code for that. Otherwise, when we talk about natural stone, ما في necessarily a manufacturer code. When we do the tiles, the next product, راح تشوفون أعطيكم catalog white out وكل material على حسب السايز والcolor has a code مال manufacturer. So that's where this goes. بعدين physical properties, slip resistance, if it's fire rated الأشياء هذه, that goes there. So again, حق الأرضية بالصالات, generally we don't really need to add much with that. Then the material finish. Stone generally is polished and honed. Those are the two main ones. Polished, very shiny, glossy. Honed, يشيلون اللمعة. So it's rougher, miserly. So usually if you want to put it بالحمامات مثلا, that can be honed. Edge type, when تكلمنا you can do the edge type. That's the condition of the edge of the material. Where would that apply generally? Floors, if it's just tiles داشين بعض, they're not necessarily an edge type. Unless إذا تلاحظون مرات الكاشي مال الصناعات اللي ينحط حق السيارات أو حق الارتداد, sometimes when the tiles come together, they don't come perfectly together, it's beveled, there's a chamfer. تشوفونه شوي داش. So it could apply to some floors, but generally not to the floors. Which items usually have an edge that you need to specify how the edge is?
Counters.
So counters for whether it's a bathroom or a kitchen. So if we were specifying a counter, we would mention what type of edge. Is it going to be beveled, like a radius? It's a curve. Is it chamfered? If it's chamfered or radius, how much? This is a big curve. It could be a small curve. You can customize and do it in the factory. آخر شيء installation type. Okay? So let's start one by one. So when we talk about the stone, شنو تذكرون standard sizes اللي تكلمنا عنها when we talk about أرضيات بالطرق والصالات?
60 by 60.
Yeah. So generally you don't want to go smaller than 40 by 40. You could go do 40, 50, 60, 80 or 100 if it's square. Rectangular شنو the common ones اللي تكلمنا عنهم قبل؟ 60 120 is one. 40 80 is another one. 120 80 is a more custom size. Usually it's double, 60 and 1 to 2 usually. 40 by 80, 60 by 120, those are the most common ones. 30 by 60 شوية صغير بس could be used بالمطابخ والحمامات. Why would we مثلا want to use smaller tiles in حمامات والمطابخ? حمامات والمطابخ are wet areas. Hint, wet.
we need more space on the wall.
spacing for what؟
Like the tiles عشان نشيل الماء.
لا بالعكس ما نبي ماء ان شاء الله. We want the water to end up where إذا صار كت ماء بالحمام بالمطبخ. It has to go where? To the drain. What happens if I use very big tiles and there's water compared to smaller tiles? The slope. If I have small tiles, I can do an easier slope. If I want to slope the water like this, okay, I can do مثلا 30 and each one is sloped. If my tile متر بمتر وكان ضيق, how am I going to slope it without breaking the tile? Okay, so that's generally the idea. Whenever you have wet areas, حتى بالأسطح, بالسطح, بالبالكوني, بالحمامات, بالمطابخ, you need smaller tiles so that you can do slopes more easily. Okay? So, in the example I gave you, I did 400 by 800. So I want you to do something else. 400 by 800 is the example I have. So you can do anything other than 400 by 800. You can do, again, like I mentioned, 400 by 400. That whatever you do here needs to be updated in your working drawings. So now is a good idea to use what you did with working drawings. عشان ما تعدلونه. And to the working drawings, سويته مثلا 500, just put it here. No need to customize here and then back again your working drawings. الرسمات. Unless حاطين أربعة مترنمية بالرسمات مالكم. If you did, then you have to fix it. Okay. Usually the الأرضيات thicknesses are between 2 and 3 centimeters. 2 is standard and acceptable. 3, it's if you have heavier things happening on it or you want something stronger, على حسب الماتيريال. So generally we're going to stick to 2 centimeters. So this can be the same for you.
هذا الديسكربشن عند الفلور صح؟
حق ST01 حق الماربل floor. Then I want to describe the color of the material. Sometimes the material itself has the color mentioned. يعني this is red Alicante marble. فما أكتب red Alicante خلاص, it's already in it. As this says light Emperador, I want to describe the color. Vector beige, light Emperador. And here vector brown, dark Emperador. So pick one of these materials to paint. يعني مثلا mocha cream. How are we going to describe it? Beige mocha cream. صح? This مثلا off-white or light beige. This is beige. So pick any one of these. These are white and gray مثلا. So I can say, I'm actually doing travertino, so I'm doing beige. Classic travertino. You can say white and gray, bianco lassa مثلا هني. White and gray, statuario. These are marbles. People make marbles and stones. Again, I'm gonna hopefully have somebody come in to give you an idea of what's the differences between them. This travertine is not a marble. This is a limestone, so Omani stone or limestone. Okay, and then describing the color and describing the name of the item. So that's material color, material name, and type. Then the manufacturer code for marble, we're going to skip that. So there's no manufacturer code. Physical property, if we're doing living room, bedroom, we don't have to mention it. When we get to the next one, and then so the wet areas, راح نكتب slip resistant عشان ما يزلق, non-slip. So we're skipping that one for this here as well. But then finish, material finish. Typically, built either polished, so you can say polished or honed. It's up to you, your choice. The other one is honed. H-O-N. Honed finish. So again, honed يعني لمعة مشيولة منها, it's rough. Polished, it's glossy. So take your pick. Either one is fine. Part of the physical property could be, if you're using another type of travertine, is talking about how it's filled. If it's non-filled, resin-filled. Speaking of travertine, you could use one of these other ones. You could use silver or yellow travertine if you really want travertine. Okay, بعدين material edge type قلنا does not apply to flooring in this example. أنا هتكلم على installation type. So this applies to everyone. It's the same. Well, there are multiple methods. This is the one that's mostly used in the market. So Italian installation method. And just a short description of what it is. So that's dry, screed, plus wet, cement. Text, is it big enough? Well, I will post it on Teams as well. So I just want to walk you through it one by one.
How would you do that for other flooring materials? How would I?
I think we'll do another one for ceramic. This applies for actual terrazzo and marble and granite. كده يركب نفس الطريقة. So terrazzo أو تسوون terrazzo will be the same method. So again, to clarify, if you go back to material catalogs, أول شيء in KCPC, if you go down, you will find terrazzo, Italian terrazzo. You can pick one of these as well. Well, this is the manufacturer code. So you would actually put this بين قوسين, you write this 09 وبعدين تكتبونها رقم. تشوفون الاسم, color, like light gray with dark gray pebbles مثلا. And then you put بين قوسين the name of the model and you say by KCPC. I'll show you an example for the tiles. Again, installation for terrazzo هو نفس installation مع الماربل. There are 2 or 3 other terrazzo brochures under terrazzo. You'll see هذا مال الصناعات. So هذا بالكويت. This is the code and these are the colors. And it tells you the sizes here. You can go as small as 30 by 30. You could use these Hegel balconies with rooftop if that's another one of your flooring examples. 30 by 30, 40 by 40, 30 by 60, and 40 by 80. You can choose one of these. And then 2 other suppliers of terrazzo, so you could use those as well as your flooring. Okay. Next, let's use a ceramic. So if you download under ceramic tiles, I have one catalog by RAK, Awesome Famous Ceramics. There are different types of ceramics. So you'll find tiles that are full-body porcelain. معناتها السيراميك لما تكسرونه اللون اللي قاعد تشوفونه برا هو نفس اللون اللي داخل, like marble. When you break a marble, if it's gray all the way. If it's red all the way. But not all ceramic is like that. So that's the full body. There's another type that says red. So that's full body porcelain tiles. That's what it means. When you break it with full body, you can see the same color. Other types So you see here it says red body ceramic tiles. شنو معناته؟ In the print that you're seeing here, which is like fake marble or whatever, that's only on top. If you break it or it chips, شيء طاح عليه مثلا مطرقة طاحت and it chipped, you'll see a red structure for it. So that goes in the description of what it is. Either red body ceramic or full body ceramic or just porcelain tile. So whichever one you pick, hang on, I said a lot of wet areas. So you need to find one that has a matte finish and a small size. So when you go through this catalog, find one that has not more than 30 by 60 حق الحمام الأرضية. So that's your criteria. Smaller, even better. These are actually mosaics. Okay, so I could use, let's say, I can pick this one as my example. So again, I want you to change the tag. So I will use this, you have to use something different. We follow the same steps. أول شيء عندنا the size. So I'm picking 30 by 60. أول شيء ceramic, شنو ceramic tiles, شنو الكود ماله؟ Ceramic tile. CT. CT-01, so that's my ceramic tile. وين ثاني راحت؟ راح؟ Okay. CT-01. هل السيراميك الأرضية نفسها راح يكون سيراميك الأطول؟ When we do interior finishes for the walls, I can put one of them as my ceramic حق الحمام أو المطبخ. Would it be also CT-01 ولا مختلف؟ شو الفرق بينهم؟ شو الفرق؟ If it's the same material and the same installation method, whether on the wall or the floor, it should be the same code. إذا قاعد استخدم بالضبط نفس الأرضية هي نفس الطوفة, I'm going to put the same code. شنو ممكن يختلف بين الأرضية والطوفة بالwet areas? Installation method could be very similar actually. If not exactly the same. بس فرق إن هذا عرض وهذا فوق.
Wet areas in general, like kitchen for example.
إيه generally إحنا قلنا what sets wet areas apart غير عن موضوع السلوب. The material should be what? ما يزلق صح؟ Does that apply to the walls? Does it need to be slip resistant? Actually, if it is slip resistant, معناته شنو؟ إن there's more friction. Usually surfaces that are rougher, are these easy or hard to clean? Harder. صح؟ يعني لو عندنا مثلا باك سبلاش مال المطبخ وصار في زيت طشر على الباك سبلاش, you want a glossy, smooth finish so you can wash it easily. فما راح يكون نفس الماتيريال. So this, I'm using the floor ceramic tile. For the wall would be, and I want you مثلا to match from the same family. مثلا هني, this is one set of porcelain. تقدروا تستخدمون واحد matte مثلا for the floor, وبعدين rectified or light structure for the wall, or a different one that says glossy. Other materials could say glossy or smooth, polished. Because you want to find one that has both matte and polished. Okay, so it has both.
Smooth يعني polished?
Polished is shinier. Smooth is like smooth, ناعم. Polished is more shiny. The smooth is acceptable for walls حق مطابخ وهذا.
يعني أقدر أختار نوع في مات وفي منه smooth.
Hey, matte to smooth is fine. بس يعني مو polished and smooth لأن الحين ما في مات حق الأرضية. This is a big size, 60 by 120. ما هي أصغر. So find the one that's suitable. this is matte and smooth. في sizes هذا ما في sizes في mosaics.
So did I specify non-slip or is that just matte?
You specify as well. That's in the feeble characteristics اللي قبله البروبرتيز وبعدين الفinish. So you'd say slip resistant matte. Okay, هذا مثلا has 30 by 60 في matte وفي smooth. So I'm going to pick this one, paleo, so don't pick paleo. So I will use this one, 30 by 60, فأحط هنا 300. The thickness of this you can find from here. So the 300, the 30 by 60 centimeters, the thickness is right here, you see? The 30 by 60 channel thickness, Mala? 9. So 300 by 600 by 9 mm. And then I describe the color if it's not already in the name. So I'm going to say this to me looks like light gray, so light gray. Porcelain tiles. Okay. So here I'm saying what the dimensions are. I put light gray حق the color that I'm describing. And then the material name and type, so it's porcelain tiles. And then here I can put the manufacturer code. بين قوسين أقدر أقول I can put the name, Paleo. To avoid confusion, I'm going to say Paleo warm grain. And then I want you to find the code. So, Metrophone need codes. Paleo warm gray. There, 30 by 60. So this is the code here. So you copy this code. And say buy RAK Ceramics. Again, you're welcome to find some other catalogs and use those as well, because I'm using this one.
So وين بينت اسم
بالجدول.
لا أقصد لأن كانت أحسن you didn't specify اسم
It's very ordinary.
اسمه
أنا هني حطيت gray porcelain tiles. Porcelain tiles هو تحت الاسم. It could be full bodied porcelain. شفت الأوبشنز أول واحد كان في full bodied porcelain. وبعدين في porcelain tiles وكان في red bodied porcelain. So that's the type. That's the type of material we're using. And you're describing it, what the color is, light gray porcelain tiles. بعدين بين قوسين you're putting the manufacturer code and details of that specific item. I picked Paleo, this is a warm gray, وهذا الcode. And then I mentioned who the supplier is, by RAK Ceramics. Okay? And here, the next thing is to describe what? Back to manufacturer code, physical properties. That's where I say slip resistant.
I should mention hidden physical properties.
Yeah, just the more important ones for this specific purpose. But for a bathroom floor, slip resistance is enough. Slip resistant. بعدين الماتيريال finish. That's when we say matte. Okay.
ما حد فاصلة؟
You could or just continue. It's fine. Either way. Slip resistant matte finish. None of they're related. For ceramics, it's wet installation using ceramic, cement, adhesive. And you can mention the size of the grout. How big do you want the grout to be? So it's the gaps between the tiles. So you can say 2 mm grout spacing. Generally, for tiles, it shouldn't be less than 1. Be 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. Generally, it's between 1 and 3. So pick one of these. Except 2. You technically had to go all the way. You would specify what the grout actually is. That's fine. We can skip that. Or just mention using gray grout, or a color that matches what you picked. Any questions so far? So we have one type of marble, one type of porcelain, and you can customize it. So I want you to change the size. The finish could be honed or polished.
Ceramic tile.
The rest is standard, you can keep it as is. So these are the sizes that could change. This may or may not change porcelain on full body, but in هذا الاسم راح يتغير. Could be this supplier or different, it's fine. The rest is the same. Spacing should be custom. And the color should be also matching the color of the task. Any questions so far? Okay, ceilings. And again, we have at least 2 types of ceilings that are different. We have actually 4 that we mentioned. So we're going to use one, the sala wal-ghurfa, and one, the wet areas. Okay, that's the one I'm going to show you the difference between them. So if you go back to the list here, we're doing suspended ceiling. Okay, so the code is SC. These apply to, if you go to the catalogs, you can use gypsum ceiling tiles. The standard one used is 600 by 600. And there's the other one, gypsum boards. We can use that for the wet areas, moisture resistant gypsum board. Okay, so these are the two different ones we will use. So this one, we start with the size, so 600 by 600 by 2 mm, 2 centimeter. These you could copy word for word. So don't care about that. So that's what we put in the sections, those steel rods that are holding the ceiling tiles. So تكون كلام على ceilings احنا في have multiple ones. في 600 by 60 سنتي. They are installed like a grid وبعدين they're actually plastered. That's what we're saying. يتمعجنون so you don't see the grid. If you're in an office, maybe you see those lines on the grid and they use a little bit different panels. These are suspended with steel rod support. By then we want to finish, we want to mention the finish. So here I want to say painted with white so up to here you're copying word for word. Here we're going to use you go to your material catalogs, interior wall finishing, you will have a few catalogs to pick from. So I'm picking from the Jotun. It's called Phenomastic. That's the type of paint we will be using. So Phenomastic. And then pick a color different than the one I'm going to pick now. So I'm picking again, you're welcome to find another catalog. Okay, I'm picking this one. That's the code 0486. And I mentioned the supplier. So here what you're changing is this part right here. Everything else for a living room could be the same. Now, again, this is not the only method. Let me copy this. You could also replace this. So by the panels used. So if I go to the gypsum, I'm going to use here مثلا the regular one. So I'll show you the two different ones. This is more expensive. That's the size of the panel, width and length. So without 600 by 600, could be 1200 by 2400. The thickness is 12.5. Suspended regular gypsum ceiling panels instead of tiles. And these are big panels, they're big boards. Everything else would be the same. So that's another option for the same ceiling. حق المطابخ حق الحمامات sorry حق الغرف والصالات you could do either this or that. Okay.
على أي أساس بنشوفه؟
اللي يعجبك. Okay, for the bathrooms, the main difference is the issue to do with water. So this needs to be water resistant. But without regular gypsum ceiling panels, gypsum board panels. So instead of regular, it's going to be moisture resistant. It's the same size. الحين لو نرجع على هذا, I'm using this one, moisture resistant gypsum board for the bathrooms. It's the same size. Okay. But typically for it to be waterproof, here I forgot to add something with white, the finish matte. So in the living rooms and the bedrooms, it's a matte finish. You rarely see something glossy above that. For the wet areas, it's could be gloss or semi-glossy or semi-glossy. Could be the same, from the same paint type, they can have glossy, semi-glossy, or matte. You could keep that or find another one. The name you picked from Juten. There's also National Industries. I picked Juten. If you go to the paint, fee National Paints. If you want peanut butter, take your pick. Off-White, Magnolia. Then you'd say buy National Paints, not buy Juten. So that's another option. Clear so far? Any questions? How we're doing this? Or how you will customize it by then? Okay. Exterior finishes. So most of us have bricks. صح؟ So bricks BR01. If you open your material catalogs, go to exterior wall finishing. limestone. هذا حيعطيكم الكاتالوج مال صناعات الوطنية for bricks. There are different types of bricks. There's limestone with smooth surface, limestone with rough surface, pigmented and royal limestone, textured, stone bricks, decorative, decorative actually حق borders, so that's for the, not really for the finish. So you would pick one of these and you would pick a color. Okay? So أول شيء you want to do, pick which one. So I would pick one of the first ones. You would need to pick something different than I would do standard 6. So you can pick one of these, a standard 1, 2, 7, or one of these other ones, the rough one, standard 30, هذيلا الأسماء. Okay? For the first step, احنا شنو قاعد نحط description? Size. So pick the one you want, look at the size that they have, you see this? Pick the width and the length, وبعدين the width. The depth, sorry. So this one would be 140. Okay, so I'm picking, so now you know the size, pick one of your elements and find the size, but then if you go all the way down, you'll see the different colors they have. If it's sugar, don't write sugar, write off-white or something. وبعدين لما تحطون بالcode manufacturer, write sugar. So I'm just going to pick beige. So I'm going to say beige. Limestone brick. هذول كلهم limestone bricks. Just different types of limestone bricks. بعدين هنا بنحط the manufacturer details. Okay? So I'm going to put the name of the code here. So it's standard 6. You see that small number here, 138. Each one has a unique number. And then you will write the color based on the manufacturer. This is beige 111. Here it might be sugar 151 or whatever the number is. So color beige 1. لون عند رقم. You might write here dark yellow 031 or dark gray 091 or sugar 191. So pick one of these colors, anything other than beige. And then you write by National Industries Company. Then you're mentioning the finish. Okay? So that's where here the finish comes in. So this one that I picked, standard 6, is a smooth finish. Okay? If you picked this one, you would write rough finish. Or pigmented, textured. So that's the finish. You pick one of these, whichever one you picked. So right here. In the installation method, so here I'm mentioning the color of the cement. I'll just write it and come back and explain. So here I'm mentioning white. It depends on the color you're using. If you're using, let's say, a gray, oh shame, Madayan, do you know if there's a difference in price between white and gray cement? شوفون شاس cement في gray في cement again. Is there a difference in price?
Yes.
إيش كذا؟ وش كثر؟ 3 times more. تشيس الاسمنت دينار ربع، تشيس الاسمنت العادي دينار ربع، تشيس الاسمنت الابيض 3 دنانير و3 دنانير وشوي. So it's expensive. But sometimes you actually really want it to do that. If you notice with marble, I picked white cement. If you put, let's say, a gray cement and you have a light marble, it will actually take the gray from the cement. راح يغير لون الماتيريال. يعني travel time لو حطيت سمنت أسود راح يصير لونه أغمج. It will absorb the gray cement. So sometimes you have to pay extra to get the white cement عشان ما يأثر. I'm doing this with this because it's a beige cement, a beige brick. So I want white cement to go behind عشان ما يوسخ الbrick مبدئيا and to see the color and to be white as opposed to gray. You could also color the cement. You can use white cement and they would add the powder. Limestone comes in bags with L1 like pigments. ويقدرون يلونون السمنت عشان يصير نفس لون الbrick. That's another option. That's part of I'm describing the properties of it. Yeah. This now is I'm talking not about the property and the installation method. Now I'm talking about installation. They do have some different properties. That's how it's made, has to do with more than just a pigment. The final result, we're talking about the aesthetic result and the aesthetic effect. If I use gray cement, ممكن يوسخ marble or bricks. So sometimes I would say, or بالآخر, I don't want to see gray, I want to see white cement. So then I say I want white cement and you specify it here. So this is an example where if you don't specify it, المقاول شو راح يستخدم؟ الأرخص. They want to make the difference 2 kd as a profit. So here you'd have to mention it. So here that's the white cement rendered on wire mesh and cement plastic. فاحنا قبل ما نحط الجيري لازم نحط شبك ونحط عليه اسمنت وبعدين we install the brick. That's what we're saying here. So this is also going to be the same, you don't have to change it. Before I continue, bricks with the patterns. How many different types of patterns can we do with bricks? Okay. ممكن بالطول بعد. So there are many different patterns. The most basic one is called the running bond. That's the most basic one. Now we move on to this, not zooming in more. So you would mention this type, that it's a running bond. There are other types. This is a stack bond, اللي ما في staggered between them. It's called a stack bond. English bond, where it has different spacing. Flemish is one big one, then a half, then a big one, then a half. Common bond, smaller than a half, and there's a bit of a shift. There are different types. So running is the most basic one. You can keep it as running. That's most of you probably that's the standard one you have on the elevation, so that's fine. So here we're going to mention running bond. Another thing we want to mention is the spacing, both between bricks فوق بعض والbricks يم بعض, and it's not always the same. أقدر أكبر وأصغر the spacing اسمه الجراف, والفراغ اللي بين الbricks you could have no gap between them يلزقون ببعض even if there's a grout كذي نلزقهم ببعض. So here this could be bigger and this could be stuck to each other, or I could say أبي grout هني وهني. البيوت القديمة usually would have both a grout here and vertical. A lot of the newer ones there's only grout تحت without a gap here. So you would say 10 millimeter high. Or you would say 10 millimeter vertical grouting. So that's another option in here. If you look, try to match maybe your drawing or change your drawing. Okay, so look at your elevations. Do they have a grout with vertical? If it does, then add it here. Say 10 millimeter vertical grout here. Any questions about this? فهني راح يتغير عندنا size. The color could be different. Limestone brick is probably going to be the same. This will probably be different. The finish could be different. كلامنا في rough في different finishes. The white versus gray cement could be different. You could potentially change this. So by the way, in Revit there are different bonds, different patterns. Santi is standard, so you may leave it as is. And this could change. Any questions? No? Ready to leave? Alright. باقي exterior finishes. عندنا a stone finish with could be a semi-mechanical finish. Interior wall finishes. عندنا ceramic وعندنا a painted plaster finish. Okay? So I'll post the examples and we can look at that Monday, work on it Monday and submit it Wednesday. So you'll have a week from today to finish it. Okay? Ready to leave? Let's go. Hey, sorry, actually, again. Sorry, just a second. I want to take attendance. Hadid? Ali? Yazi? Juri Kandari? Amal? Basan? Farah? Fatma? Aisha? Lulwa?